I'm here with former Bellator MMA fighter Xayim Gozali to break down the lies of former UFC fighter Jeff Monson. Now Jeff, a Russian citizen who gave up US citizenship to become Russian and now defends the Russian army who occupied parts of Ukraine, decided to create a video sharing facts about Israel. But as it turns out, he doesn't actually know a thing.
Let's take a look.
The terror organization I'm referring to is the Israeli Army, or the IDF.
First off, a state military cannot, by definition, be a terrorist organization.
Yosef, let's continue watch.
What is the most funded terrorist organization in the world? The terrorist organization I'm referring to has been at work 75 long years and is still going strong thanks to the annual contribution of $3.5 billion, with a B, dollars from America to buy weapons.
Now Jeff is just showing off his ignorance. For starters, over 80% of US aid to Israel is reinvested in the US economy, creating American jobs.
And I don't dare call it defense spending, because this terror organization is like a great NBA basketball team. Offense, 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 when there's no need for defense when you're always attacking.
Now this is getting funny. To claim that the weapons Israel purchased are for offense is laughably absurd, since some of the most expensive military equipment used in Israel
Is the Iron Dome.
is the Iron Dome, an exclusively defensive technology costing over $1 billion that protects civilians by shooting down rockets fired by Palestinian terrorists into Israel in mid-flight. Israel pays $60,000 for each Iron Dome deployment to protect its civilians, both Arabs and Jews, from incoming terrorist rockets. And don't forget that the IDF targets military sites exclusively and has repeatedly called off strikes in order to prevent civilian casualties.
Palestinian terrorists, on the other hand, are firing directly at Israeli civilians.
This terror group is almost single-handedly responsible for the unrest and upheaval in the Middle East.
So not the Syrian civil war, the Yemen civil war, the Iran-Iraqi war, which had over 1 million casualties, the Lebanese civil war, the Iraqi war, the Afghan war, and the Taliban, the Arab Spring conflict in Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, and other countries, all Israel, right?
Oops, Israel wasn't involved in any of that.
Amnesty International has officially registered Israel as an apartheid state.
Oh, of course, Amnesty's apartheid smear. But if you take a look at Israel's Declaration of Independence, it explicitly protects minorities and freedom of religion. And while Israel deals with challenges of racism like any nation, there is no apartheid in Israel. And as an Arab citizen of Israel myself, I have equal rights under the law.
The irony cannot be lost on the fact that the Jewish people, victims of the Nazis and one of the most notorious genocides in history, are now themselves the perpetrators of genocide against another people.
Not only is the comparison of Israel to Nazis blatantly anti-Semitic, the accusations of genocide is easily proven false. According to the Palestinian Authority's own statistics, Palestinian population in all Palestinian cities and towns has constantly increased in both the West Bank and Gaza. You probably didn't hear about this, but in the last 3 Gaza operations combined, less Palestinians were killed than the number of Palestinians killed by Syrians in the Syrian civil war.
There have been no major problems in the Middle East before the creation of Israel.
Of course, the Middle East was a beacon of peace and tolerance before 1948. No conflict with the Ottoman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, the Persian Empire, the Islamic conquest, the Crusades, the Great Syrian Revolt, the Saudi-Yemen War, World War I, World War II.
Jeff, are you actually this ignorant?
Israel has bombed Gaza into rubble, and they don't let in humanitarian aid, restrict less food into Gaza than is needed to sustain the population.
Ah yes, another ugly blood libel. On an almost daily basis, Israel ensures the transfer of food, supplies, and humanitarian aid to Gaza. In fact, one of the only times this was prevented was when terror group Hamas literally bombed their own humanitarian aid crossing point with rockets.
Funny how you left that part out, huh, Jeff?
And here's a bonus fact for you, Jeff. Do you know which Arab country closed its border with Gaza because of terrorism?
Egypt.
An Arab country. So, Jeff, now that you understand that your entire presentation was absolutely nonsense, here's your chance to apologize and admit how wrong you are.
And Jeff, if you still have a problem with the facts, you can always come visit me in the cage for one-on-one session.
You heard him.